Today, we're going to talk about the 2023 show lineup, and we're going to start off with a young lady down in Atlanta, Georgia. Her name is Renika Smith, and she does commercial insurance. And one of the things that we talked about is that during the pandemic, everyone's had an idea or concept that they wanted to start their side hustle or their own business. And one of the things that we discussed and that you would be more informed on is that once you have an online business, it is basically an international business. You're no longer the brick and mortar that you're in one location. So now you either have to look at your local laws, state laws, federal law, and now you might even need to have a consultation with your business associates, accountants, and your attorney about international affairs. So one of the things that we're excited about is that we want to expand on that issue, and also the whole concept of side hustle. I know during the pandemic, everything shut down, and we discovered some of the strengths and some of the weaknesses of our society, some of the strengths and weaknesses of our community, and most of all, some of the strengths and weaknesses of ourselves. One of the things that I know for sure is that I read more during the pandemic, and my goal was to read at least 2 books per month. And one of the things that I share with a friend of mine who doesn't read as much is if you read 3 pages of a book a day, believe it or not, you'll read a book a month. And you think about it, if you read a book a month, you read 12 books a year. And not only reading books, but you have to, not only for knowledge, but let's start reading for practicality, because I think that's what's up now. Not only for some of the things that you know in conversations or maybe, how you work the room at different social events or parties, but how does those things actually work for you? Now, one of the things that I have asked normally when I ask my guests on the show is that what is the last book you read recently? That would let me know what each guest, what they are in tune to, what they are planning, who are some of the perspectives and things that they want to, advance themselves in life. That will be my first guest. The second guest is a young entrepreneur. His name is AJ Dudes, and he has a unique business idea that I'm going to explore more. But in general, he started his company in 2019, and he was still at Norfolk State University. And one of the things I want to highlight with him is that what made him go into business? Who are some of the people that he is inspired by? And just trying to get the nuts and bolts of, how did he come up with this concept of developing a business plan, and how you can get sponsorship, if he had sponsorship, or has he looked into venture capitalists? Those are the concepts that I want to talk about. And one of the things that I know for sure that he has done the Shark Tank type expositions, where you have a business idea, you have maybe 3 or 4 sponsors looking to your sales pitch, and how he developed his sales pitch. Because to my knowledge, I know he's been over 10 type Shark type exposures. So what can you tell someone else who's trying to develop a business plan, as well as what are some of the things that he learned along the way? And one of the questions that I normally ask is that what would you tell, what was one thing that you know now that you wish you had known before you started your endeavor? That's one of those things that, life lessons along the way that you develop, you learn, and you start being able to articulate that. And part of that whole study is that if you are mentoring someone, that is probably the bridge that overlap the gap of knowledge that they have also. And another speaking of that, I always like to uh, ask the question: uh, in 10 years from now, how do you picture yourself? You know, as far as in business or your social status, or uh, or you thinking about maybe branching off into politics? How you do, your involvement in family life, as well as what you're doing in your community. And one of the things, another guest is a doctor, and we're going to talk about the health issues, especially in the Black and Brown community. There are so many things that we're going to explore. One of the things that right on top of my head is that we understand that hypertension, diabetes, heart disease, are historically the ones that actually prey upon our community. But we're going to talk about domestic violence. We're going to talk about gun violence. And we're going to also expand on actually the trauma that's involved. One of the things I know for sure is that from one incident, whether it's two people involved, there are 100 people in the background that has to address that issue. And we're going to talk about the co-workers. We're going to talk about the family, how they are affected by it. We're going to talk about the police, law enforcement, the fire department. We're going to talk about how the community, if a person belongs to a temple, church, or synagogue, how they're affected by it. If the person's in school or the co-workers, there's a myriad of factors that is involved when a person either is a victim of a crime or a person commit a crime. There's so many layers that doesn't really get addressed. So we're going to address those issues also. Now, one of the things that we are developing here as KST, we're going to develop a resource guide on our website. Now, the resource guide is one of the things that came about on the last interview, is that I mentioned panhandling. On every major corner, you have people who are, in need, say, help wanted, homeless, and I've seen from children, babies out to pets out, right there at the intersection. My complicity in this whole thing is that do I encourage panhandlers by giving them money or and impeding traffic, or do I create another vehicle that we can use in regard to that? So going to the resource page is that there are ministries, there are programs, there are state, city, federal dollars that are supplementing certain programs. So we're going to be connecting the dots to that. And I think expanding the knowledge of the resources will be one of those things that we sorely need in our communities, and that we need to address those issues. So one of the things that I like to I guess shine a light on is the mental health crisis that we have. One of the things that we know for sure is that when we were kids, we used to have this little ditty called "Sticks and Stones May Break My Bones, but Words Would Never Hurt Me." That is one of the, I would say, for lack of a better word, so distorted, because we know that when somebody says something derogatory to us, whether it be true or false, it hurts our feelings. And our feelings, believe it or not, dictates how we respond. We assume that, let's say, reasoning and logic brings us clarity to make decisions. if we were being honest with ourselves, we know our emotions and our feelings dictates what we do, what we say, and how we feel. Uh, it's very challenging for someone who have esteem issues. And if we are honest with ourselves, we all are somewhat intimidated or had a bully or had to become to a place where we're self-aware that we are be our own man or be our own woman. But that takes time and development. It also takes some support from our proverbial village. And you have a generation or kids who don't have that type of support. And so we have a society that wear our feelings on our sleeves. And what I mean by that, if you drove anywhere, at any time, at any point, look at the road rage. People who will cross in your lane and give you the one finger wave, or people who shout certain things to you, or one of the things that I have a habit I'm breaking the habit of answering my phone when I'm driving. So sometimes you can swerve in somebody else's lane, and they're going to get upset with you. So one of the things that we have to do is be more, show more kindness. But let's address that there is an issue with mental health. There's an issue with self-esteem. There's so many things that we have to address in our society today. And due to all the information that we have, and due to the limited time that we have to actually absorb that information, sometimes our feelings get overlooked because we move into the next thing. Sometimes, even if you look at being parents who are underpaid and overworked, and they have so many other stressors that they are bombarded with on a daily basis, that may not have time to really sit down, nurture their children. So there's other mechanisms that we should have in our community. Since used to be the Boys and Girls Club, after school programs. Church is another great avenue that we can somewhat fill the gaps of raising a child, so he won't feel that basically he's alone, or actually be one of those safe places. And we need to get back to having that village actually support our kids so they can develop and grow to be strong individuals. With that in mind, we also need to be aware when people are calling out for help. And sometimes that help is being introverted, and sometimes that help is called out when they're being extroverted of certain activities. When we need to come back and attune our ears to be receptive of when we hear somebody who's in pain. I have, the experience of actually listening to other people for as a professional. So maybe I have an advantage in that area, but it's an area that we can develop only if we have the attitude that we want to help our coworkers. We want to help our schoolmates. We have to develop that part of empathy. It's in order for all of us to feel safe where we go to school, where we go to church, where we go shopping. We all have to do our part in order for that to be whole. So coming up in the 2023 year, I would like to get back on certain things to address certain issues, like, having a doctor come in and address this issue, or having a entrepreneur to address some things that some of the challenges that he has, or having insurance professionals to tell you some of the things that you need to look out for. And so those are things that I'm looking forward to working on in the coming year. So with that in mind, we're also going to have a segment that we have a Q&A section, and I will probably be developing those things, and we're going to have more of an interaction. And then I'm so excited about some of the things that are coming up in the new year, and looking forward to having you come into my living room and sharing some of the excellent things that are going on into the community. And we'll be back after these messages.
Cammie's Closet, Cammie's Closet, Cammie's Closet, an upscale resale clothing, vintage clothing, handbag, and shoes online store. Cammie's Closet, spelled with a K, not with a T, is a small upscale resale boutique that carry gently used name brand clothing, vintage clothing, shoes, and handbags. Cammie's Closet is all about rediscovering, upcycling, and selling clothes of all kinds. Cammie's Closet believes it's an underappreciated form of clothing, and they started a win-win for everyone. The true value of resale. Cammie's Closet is very aficionado, passionate about rediscovering, upcycling, and reselling upscale resale and vintage clothing of all kinds. Go to kamikloset.com. That's K, not a T, A-M-I-S-K, not a C, L-O-S-E-T. kamikloset.com.
Thank you so much, and be sure to patronize my major sponsor. And just looking forward to the 2023 season. As I said, that we're going to kick the show off with Renika Smith, Commercial Insurance, AJ Dews, who's going to tell us about his new entrepreneur venture. And then we're going to have another doctor come on, and we're going to talk about the health issues, specifically for black men, since we're so hard-headed, you can't get us to go do a regular checkup. We're going to make sure that you're going to encourage them softly so they can actually do it. So that's going to wrap the show up for tonight. Thank you so much. Be blessed, and this is a winning edge.